really sure, because I could have easily sat down there and waited, and I'm not going to get offended that you didn't collect me before you came in, Annette, but it's okay. Because today I wanted to speak about starting from where you are. That's the topic. We go back and forth about topics. Anyway, the reason is that during the week I was just wondering what I was going to speak on and wanting to inspire and encourage, and especially give hope and potential. And in doing so, I kept trying to see what to talk about, how to do it, and what to share today. And what I recognize is about spirit. And the spirit is named many things, and we call spirit many things. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because of you and your inner voice. All of you have an inner voice. It's a voice that you will hear from time to time, and it will be a voice that will help you turn right instead of left. And if it isn't one that gets your attention with words, it often is inspiration, a feeling, a sense of what you want to do or how to do it. Our lives have had a wonderful opportunity in spiritualism to explore guides, to explore direction, and over the years, because I have been exposed to spiritualism for over 50 years, and when was this church established? In 73?
Way back in the old.
Well, I was a charter member here. And the reason that I'm saying this is there are many different ways that people learn to find their own inner guidance. There are many different books on many different aspects of spirit guidance, all kinds of divination opportunities. You name it, it's out there. None of them are wrong or right, better or not, more superior or inferior. If they are something that resonate with you or something that you find inspirational, encouraging, and takes you to the next phase or the next stage of your own life. We have wonderful opportunities in the older methods. I know that when I got my first reading many years ago, that the gentleman that gave it to me, and I didn't know what a reading was, and I didn't even know what to expect, but I also knew, bless you, that my whole life was sort of falling apart at the seams, and that I didn't know what to do. And so I did go to a medium, and they were in Casadega at the time, Reverend Joseph Paquin, and he said, well, I can meditate and get your band of guides. And that was one way in spiritualism that was often taught for getting guidance from specific spirits for whatever, whether it was medical, whether it was philosophical, whether it was chemical, whether it was your own sense of joy, your own sense of your own happiness, etc. So I did that. I asked him to do that, and I didn't have a clue what I was asking for, but anyway, he gave me information one day, and he had meditated, and there were 7 guides, and I sat down on the floor when I got back to my apartment in Orlando, and at the time, and I tried really hard to, and it never quite felt like mine. And all of you have gone through this, where you've done something or you've gone someplace. A lot of us have experienced other churches, other philosophical understandings, other walks of life, and found that those didn't resonate. Those didn't have that little bit of oomph that allowed us to feel in control of our lives with assistance from the infinite. We talk about believing in infinite intelligence, and yet the majority of times people are wanting to have the spirit communication. And I say, what's the difference? because everything is in that infinite intelligence, everything. And that infinite, to me, is all things and one thing more. And the next thing it's going to be is the blink of your eye, the breath that you're going to take, the next relationship you're going to maybe make with, even if it's a clerk in the grocery store when you go through buying your groceries. And the amazing part of that is that infinite is residing within you constantly, never leaves you because of anything you say or do. You haven't done anything that's a mistake. You've done some things that you probably don't want to do again, but at the time that you did them, didn't you do them with the best information you had? Didn't you do those things or say those things or go those places that felt at that time the thing for you to do? Well, I have. I've moved across country. I mean, literally across country twice because of feeling guided to go. The guidance was based upon not being happy here, but it was also looking for something more. So what happens with starting where you are? All of you are at a point in your lives that you have accumulated talents, skills, knowledge, experiences that have brought you to today. And today is a marvel. And today is wonderful. And you're going to continue to add to you for the rest of your life until your last breath. And the addition and the expansion is because the soul of you inhabits this wonderful physical form. And the soul wants to create. Just create. And it creates in the direction that you're looking. That isn't always with your physical sight, but with your inner vision and that inner guidance that you have that takes you places. I've had experiences where I didn't understand why I was ending up out in certain areas, and then all of a sudden something altered in being in that area, and I was introduced or had opportunity to experience something that was life-changing or that brought me to even more clarification about who I am. I am still looking for more of who I am. Some of you have established within yourself a persona because you understand your skills, your talents, your knowledge, and those are wonderful things. Me, I'm on this quest, and it's for self-knowledge and it's for self-understanding. And so spiritualism and the guidance that we have taught and the guidance that we have proposed other people discover, many people are doing that. So even when you have readings, there's no flaw and no fault in doing that. But even that is something to spur you on to become who you are and more. It's starting with who you are now, and if there are things back there, and back there, if there are things back there that you would rather not know about or experience, it's okay, because you're not there anymore. And you know what's really fascinating is that we're always becoming something more, and yet we don't give ourselves credit. I look in the mirror and I kind of go, yeah, okay, well, you look kind of the same that you did yesterday. But we're always changing. We know that our cells are changing in our bodies. We know that we've been exposed maybe to other areas or other places or other microbes in the air because the weather is constantly changing, not good or bad, right or wrong. It's just always on the move, on the go. So those cells are out there, and we're commingling with them a lot. The exciting part of that is your healing is always available. Because of that, because life constantly moves, flows, shifts, and changes. So starting from where we are is to recognize if there is something in life that you don't feel is complete enough for you at this time. It doesn't mean that that's a flawed experience. It may be that you've had enough of whatever that thing is, or that job, or that situation, or that home. And you recognize a desire within you to shift. So if the desire within you happens to commingle with that inner voice, you know the inner voice? It's that inner oomph. It's that place within us. And sometimes people will have it and they're not used to listening to it, and they will think that there's something wrong, when it could just be something of that infinite saying, oh, Diane, you want to make change. So it doesn't mean to throw the baby out with the bathwater either. So in spiritualism, we have other forms and other ways of experiencing guides and guidance. A lot of people will look to a loved one who's passed away and assume that that loved one is going to give them information for whatever they need. And it's an important feature to understand that even though some people have passed away, they didn't get another bachelor's degree in something else in that invisible realm. But what they did do is they allowed and they had opportunity to shed a physical body and to go on. The soul to me is a forever thing, and all of you have one, and it's not separate from who you are, and it's not something that you can only establish and understand when you're good, or when you say certain prayers, or you do certain things. It can be with you when you say hello to somebody at the post office. It can be in you when you see something and you giggle about it because it's lighthearted and sweet. It can be in a moment when there might be anger and annoyance or frustration in a relationship association. Committees, you know, committees. Sometimes there's differences of opinions, but those are energies. And those are opportunities to have discovery about each other. This is an incredible time of year because for many people it can bring on all kinds of wishful thinking, or it can be an appearance of lack, or it can be a challenge in many, many different emotional ways. I'm not here to correct that this morning, but I am here to say, watch. Just watch. Our whole world is shifting and changing. Not just our relative environment right around us geographically, but if you watch, humanity is shifting. And so we have a wonderful opportunity to shift and flow with it. And we have a wonderful opportunity to begin to establish even more of a faith in that inner voice and a recognition of it. Not because we haven't already established it in some ways, but because we're sometimes always looking over here for somebody else to bring it to us or somebody else to make it happen. If I said to you, all of you are brilliant, all of you are genius, all of you are capable, all of you have within you the power to be all that you can be. You were born with an infinite amount of opportunities connected to you. The little soul of you is dancing. When I say little, it's an endearment. It doesn't mean tiny. And the reason that I'm saying this is if we start from where we are, we don't have to look over here. It's very easy for me, excuse me, to look for other things to do in my life and to try to find them after living in the same place for almost 45 years. But then I also recognize it's a place people can find me. And that isn't always that they do, but it establishes something for me that is there. However, I travel. And I want to travel even more now. So all of us are choosing, and all of us are starting from where we are. And you have a wonderful opportunity with this holiday season, no matter what your beliefs are in Christmas, no matter what you feel about the New Year coming, because I want to tell you something. The infinite is everything and one thing more, and it's always going to be that for all of us. It's always going to be that one thing more. It's going to be that one next smile. It's going to be that one next tear. It's going to be that one next idea to do something. I went in Hobby Lobby. You know Hobby Lobby, you get kind of lost in there and you find all kinds of things you want to buy that you never would have thought you would buy, but you do. And you get home with 3 or 4 bags full of stuff. And then you look in the bags and you go, what are we going to do with all this? Anyway, I didn't. So I walked in Hobby Lobby and I went to the clearance bin. You know the clearance bin? It's in the back corner of the one in Orange City. Okay. So I looked in this bin. I had no clue why I was looking in this bin because it was in the yarn and knitting section. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what I'm doing back here, but I knit my first sweater when I was 10 because we used to travel every summer and I'd get so bored in the back seat I wanted to do something. So, but I haven't been knitting for over 45 years, so I went, well, more like 60, but don't tell anybody. But anyway, so there I am in Hobby Lobby and I'm looking at this bin and there's these 2 skeins of yarn on sale. I don't know if you get excited over the word clearance, but a lot of people do. So I picked them up. They were marked at $3.99 or $2.99, and I thought, oh, knit. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a pattern. I didn't have an idea of what. And you know what? I knit almost every night now, and I just make little patches. I have all these patches, and I have all these ideas of what to do with the patches. I could make a vest, I can make a sweater, I could make an Afghan, I could farm them out and give them to friends and say, here, we're all going to get together and put it together into something. But you know what it is? It's the creativity. Starting from where you are, the soul of you wants to create. And it can't do that if you're feeling stuck and continuing to look at the stuck direction. It doesn't mean you have to change your life fully. It doesn't mean you have to do anything different other than focus on that little voice that might just perk you up. It might say, come to church on Sunday, or it might say, go have whatever. Or if you're at home, it may be to turn on some program on TV, and there's one little glimmer of creative idea, or just interesting information. You will have that opportunity all of your life. And the majority of information that you gain, whether you have spirit guides, whether you believe in energies and that those have also the same meaning to you as the word spirit. We talk about the word spirit all the time, but your interpretation of spirit might be very different from yours, and it doesn't mean either is right or wrong. And that's the beauty of it. We believe in the infinite, and to me the infinite is filled with all thought and filled with all creation thus far. and filled with all of those entities who have gone on and more. Because when we say they've gone on, they have, in my opinion. And remember that, because if you start from where you are today, just think that in another half hour, you're going to be able to add more to you, because there's food. I was just making sure you're awake. I thank you for listening, but I want to also encourage you with one thing. It's to trust yourself, and to trust yourself, and to trust yourself. That within you, that essence of all that you are never